We begin at 6 under a weather impact alert. Started out for heat, but as storms make their way through central Arkansas this evening, it's still in place.
Yeah, this is a look at the state power outage map. And as you can see, there are close to about 30,000 customers without power as we come on the air.
Pulaski, Saline, Perry, Conway, and Hot Spring counties are just a few of those areas where people are getting set to be in the dark. Take a look at this. Just a glimpse of some of the damage the storm left behind at Cajun Boilers Restaurant in Hot Springs. It's on Albert Pike. They shared this video with us. The owners say nobody's been hurt. They're now working to clean up, hopefully reopen as soon as they can for the sake of their employees. Our Catherine Rowley's on her way down to Spa City. She'll have more on the damage and the cleanup efforts underway. That's coming up tonight at 10. But let's turn to Chief Meteorologist Tom Brandon first.
Yeah, Tom, what's the latest with these storms and when can we see some relief?
Well, I think the storms in central Arkansas have really settled down for the night tonight. Now, keep in mind, when you have temperatures that reach 102 degrees, you got a lot of fuel. That fuel's got to go someplace. What goes up has got to come down, and that's what happened today with these thunderstorms producing some damaging wind gusts. Now, with the rain, the temperatures have also been knocked back a bit. We're at 81 here in Little Rock. We will be expiring the weather impact alert at 6:30 tonight. So the storms are over with here in central Arkansas and also the heat. But notice down in southern Arkansas, Texarkana, by the way, was 105 back at the 5 o'clock hour. 1 hour radar loop shows the strongest storms are now in eastern Arkansas, and there's still a few riding along those outflow boundaries in southern Arkansas. They could still produce some strong wind gusts and some heavy rain. But I think we've worked over the atmosphere enough here in central Arkansas. Still could expect to see a widely scattered shower, but for the most part, we're going to see an end to the rain for the evening hours, but a couple of storms are possible tomorrow. There is your Tuesday hour-by-hour forecast, still under that weather impact alert till 6:30 tonight, but temperatures will rest in the middle 70s. I've got a cool down. We're going to talk about it coming up in just a few minutes.
Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots.
Well, the debate over mail-in voting is heating up again at the national level with, as you just heard, President Trump railing against the process yesterday.
But state and local officials say conditions are much different here. THV 11's Maya Ellison breaks down what voters need to know ahead of future elections.
On Monday, CBS News reported that President Donald Trump is pushing to end mail-in voting nationwide. This comes after he repeated claims about cracking down on what he calls, quote, voter fraud.
We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud.
But is that something that Arkansans can expect ahead of next year's elections? Well, THV 11 took these questions to state leaders like Pulaski County Circuit Clerk Terry Hollingsworth.
The president doesn't dictate what the states do as it relates to absentee balloting.
Arkansas still offers absentee voting, but there are conditions. To qualify, you must meet specific criteria.
You must be unavoidably absent. You must be unable to attend the polls due to illness or physical disability. You must reside in a long-term nursing facility or be unable to show up due to some religious reason.
And when it comes to filling out your absentee ballot, Hollingsworth tells me that everything must be correct in order for your vote to be accounted for. Other than that, she says that there isn't much that can change. Though she does point to a recent law, Act 846. If you mark, quote, unavoidably absent, a witness is now required to confirm your ballot.
This is the law, and this is what we have to deal with. And so that's why our office tries to do things as well as educate the citizens of Pulaski County.
She worries that it could impact older voters.
That, to me, is really disenfranchising those folks who are older, our most vulnerable folks.
Cole Jester, the state's top election official, says securing the vote is a key focus of his office. In a statement to THV 11, he says, quote, we will always put election security first, and that, quote, mail-in ballots are innately less secure than voting in person. And in the 2024 primary, over 3,500 absentee ballots and more than 108,000 early votes were cast in Pulaski County alone.
Have no fear that we are still doing absentee ballots, that if they need an absentee ballot, that they must call their county clerk's office, whether they're in Pulaski County or any other county in Arkansas.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
All right, Maya, thank you. There are 8 states where an entire election could be conducted by mail-in ballots. That's according to the MIT Election Lab. Arkansas is among 15 that have excuse-required mail-in ballot systems.
And ahead of elections in March, Hollingsworth says new forms to request an absentee ballot from the Secretary of State's office will be available at a later date.
Got an update for you now. A federal judge is preparing for a trial next year in the lawsuit over the firing of Saline County's former library director. Patty Hector and the ACLU are suing County Judge Matt Brumley in the Quorum Court. She says they illegally fired her in 2023 when she objected to removing or restricting books some had labeled obscene. Initial briefs in the case prompted federal Judge James Moody to set a jury trial for next July. Parties need to get together for a conference in the case by the end of next week.
And right now, the Little Rock City Board of Directors is meeting to discuss several topics, including bringing more parking to the downtown area. It's a proposal that's been in the works for more than 2 years, but it could finally get some traction tonight. This is video from February 2023 when crews were hard at work on the 30 Crossing project. Around that time, city officials announced plans to design a deck park that would sit above the interstate between 6th and 9th Street. More than 2 years later, and the board is discussing moving forward with a planning study for the project. We'll have more from that meeting tonight at 10.
Kids across Arkansas are back in school, some working on their second week, others just getting close to wrapping up their first month. No matter where they started, though, every staff member and student will tell you having the right tools is crucial to learning, and Verizon agrees. That's why the telecommunications company dropped by one of the Lisa Academy campuses this morning. The charter school, part of the Verizon Innovation Learning Schools program. It gives student internet-connected devices and enhances how teachers use technology in the classroom. And today, the company handed out more than 1,500 devices to their middle and high school students.
Or it provides students the opportunity to engage in their homework at home, despite them having limited access to their resources. And it will also allow them to reach out to potential, we have a tool called Magic School. They can have access to that to assist them with their homework.
This is Lisa Academy's first year in the program, and it's not just tech get their school. The school is also getting tech support from Verizon as teachers work to integrate all of these tools into their classrooms.
Well, having the right tools at school is important, and so is making sure kids have a healthy lunch they actually want to eat. Registered dietitian Megan McNamee says finding that balance doesn't have to be a struggle. She shared some tasty suggestions on CBS Mornings today. Each one includes a carbohydrate, a protein, a fruit, a vegetable, and then something fun like a dip, dessert, or chips. Some examples include veggie wontons, rice cake sandwiches, and a yogurt parfait.
The point of the yogurt parfait is a build your own option. So you can kind of pile it, your child can pile it together if they want, or if they're not into mixed foods yet, maybe they eat them all separately. So people kind of think they have to do, again, that kind of formal lunch, but we can have breakfast for lunch. That's okay.
McNamee says variety is key. As for picky eaters, she says it takes kids between 10 and 20 times seeing something before they eat it for the first time. So continue exposing your children to healthy foods. The more they see it, the more likely they are to eat it eventually.
Eventually. Artificial intelligence continues to creep into classrooms across the country as well.
But what's next for the controversial tech trend and its place in schools? We're taking a closer look after the break.
5 major reporting locations in Arkansas did not make it to 100, and I think the reason they didn't was because clouds and storms developed earlier in the afternoon. Everyone else did, including Little Rock, 102 the high here. After the break, we're talking about more reasonable temperatures and a nice cool down.